everybody, welcome back to Stay Gold. Got Matt and Alex here, and today we're going to be talking Better Call Saul Season 6. We're going to be talking Episode 9 and Episode 10 on this video, because we had originally talked about it a couple weeks ago when it first came out, but technological problems ensued, and it was lost. So, I mean, it is what it is, but we're just going to kind of go through it, give our thoughts so we can kind of catch up for the series finale here now. So first episode, talking back, was Fun and Games. It's episode 9, and this was right after the entire event of Lalo and Howard.
This was the one after the mid-season finale.
Mm-hmm.
Then they had, what was that one called? I'm trying to remember.
Point and Shoot.
Okay, yeah. And then Plan and Execution was the one prior to that, right?
Right.
I'm just trying to get these in order.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all these
I'm ready
names. You got it? Yeah, you know where you are now? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, this is one, like, basically, I mean, looking back now, it's the entire climax of the show with Howard and Lalo, I would say. And this is after that, where it's, like, literally the next day type feels of, holy shit, now I gotta live with all the guilt I've just brought upon myself type of thing, you know, like. It's like the part starts with like one of the beautiful, obviously, sequences where they're cross-cutting, and it's like the montage with cleaning the blood off the floor and then dipping in the hot sauce, and you see him like wringing out the blood and then to the coffee dripping and the folder flipping.
A beautiful, I don't know if this is considered just the Breaking Bad universe, but a beautiful montage, as usual, from these guys.
Dude, I'm gonna miss these montages too, man. They're fucking great. Nobody
does it like them.
Yeah.
And the amount of story they tell in one montage, you know, it's just it's great.
And they've been killing it on the music that they've been doing for the season too. It's like very, I mean, the whole series obviously has great choices for songs, but it's very like haunting and very. It feels like we're in that last legs, you know.
Yeah. Who directed this episode? Do you know?
I'm not sure.
Do you remember?
I don't.
I'll look it up. I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Then, I mean, it shows Gus pulling into the compound. He's going to meet with Eladio face to face. It was like a really dope oneer that they did then too, I thought, because it's just him in the car and you just see through his windshield. You're like with Gus the whole time in the car. It's just like a different perspective coming into the compound that we've never got. Just shows that like the creators are thinking about how to keep their entrances fresh, you know, like just even through shot placement.
Right, and that's what's nice about, I don't know, listening to them talk. You know, you hear how much thought they put through it, and they're like, we don't like to have the same shot.
Yeah,
and you could feel that, and it's just every episode's got so much life because of that. I think, you know.
And he pulls up like. Yeah, and he pulls up like right next to all like the giant sports cars and shit. It's just like a nice like dichotomy for like boring man Gus, you know, like coming up. But yeah, then it's like him face to face with Eladio. Hector's giving him the goods. Yeah, I don't know. Like,
that was a good scene in terms of showing the character of like it kind of touches base with this towards the end when we see Mike, but. The loyalty amongst these men is clearly the money, because as soon as Hector becomes what he is, you know, he has a stroke, he can't speak, right? Yeah. It's like, okay, well, this guy's pretty much useless. We'll keep him around out of respect, but he's not bringing in money.
We'll put him upstairs with a whore or whatever. Right. You know, he'll be fine.
Right. You know, we'll treat him good, but Gus, that's gonna be reeling in the money.
That's what I came out of that scene at the end of, is like, I mean, Eladio doesn't even really want to question Gus because he's the guy bringing in all the money, man. At the end of it, he's gonna trust him and like let him keep bringing in money, you know. Which,
definitely,
it was cool. It was a good scene, I thought. It like ended the beef, but also like showed you where the beef lies in Breaking Bad now, you know, because we're basically done with Gus. These like next few scenes, I would say.
Yeah, and I think he ends on a perfect scene. Not he doesn't end, I guess. We see him again one other time, but I think that scene gives him more character development, and you know the creators didn't have to do that.
Are you talking about the scene in the bar?
Yeah,
Yeah.
when I think did I skip a scene? I probably
It
did.
just shows Gus going home. He's like opening all his windows. I
Yeah.
thought there was a smart moment with him going down to the basement, and then Mike. They're like kind of like re-engaging about what to do next, and then
Hmm.
like he closes the door on Mike. Just
Yeah.
kind of shows like that relationship's got an end point, and
Yeah.
they're doing their
Now they're
own
just
things.
coworkers,
Hmm.
But
But then
yeah.
yeah, it's Gus's scene, very long scene, and a
Yeah.
lot of people would probably think like, why the fuck are we watching this scene?
Right.
But it does make sense even more now that if this is Gus's last scene, it's a beautiful scene to end him with. Like
Definitely. I feel like I said, we didn't need this scene. We could have just assumed, oh, that was the end. Now we're back to Breaking Bad timeline or whatever. But seeing the fact that they made Gus just a little human, but then realized that he can't be that person. He's kind of chosen this path and this path of vengeance in a way, and it kind of
yeah,
just that's
he's
his
gone too
guiding
far down it
principle,
now. Yeah,
right?
yeah. I
So
mean it.
he's got a goal in mind, and he's going to reach that goal, and he
Yeah,
can't let anything stop him,
yeah.
or
It's
put anybody else at risk.
right. He just can't fit that into his life in the ensuing
Right,
years or whatever. Like he
right,
just doesn't want to. There's too many complications. There's too many things that could go wrong and shit like that.
exactly.
Yeah, I mean that's where that ends that like perfectly. But the discovery of him like this is a side of him that we've never seen. Like he's
Hmm.
like not in control of the situation. He's like literally being talked down to. Like he's usually the
Right,
guy who's standing above people and like stoic or whatever. But
right.
just to see him
He's
vulnerable,
vulnerable.
yeah, exactly. He's like
Yeah,
it's the total antithesis of what we've seen him before, and like what a perfect way to end it on. We're seeing a lot of different sides of our characters this last run of episodes now, and it's just refreshing to see that. I guess technically like 12 seasons into this universe, like
yeah,
we've seen a side of Gus now that we've never seen before, and and,
right.
and it just informs so much.
And it feels nice too, is that like it's not like it doesn't feel like the creators are in a rush to get to the end. It feels natural,
It
which is
does,
nice.
yeah,
Once you get to the end of a TV show, sometimes it just feels like they got to fit all this stuff in. You know,
yeah. Game of
they
Thrones.
got to check all the boxes. Yeah, right. And they're like, "Oh, let's do 4 episodes," but
We
we
can
got
cut
a
it.
whole bunch. Yeah,
Yeah, these guys are like, we probably need 13 this
yeah,
season, and I
right.
respect that shit. Dude. It's like take what you need.
Yeah, tell your story, and
Yeah,
and they do, and they take their time, and they treat us like adults, and it's great.
hmm
So,
yeah.
but
Then the scene after that was Mike going to talk with Nacho's dad
mm,
at a shop. Another great scene. I mean, this episode is like the transition point for the series into Breaking Bad, or we're really getting to know who these characters are at this where we see them at the start in Breaking Bad.
yeah,
And it's just nice to see these little pushes by people. Like with Gus, he just got that slight push back to where he's been. With Nacho, his dad, he comes and talks to him, and he's getting that slight push to like show who he really is or what he's like. What is he? What's his dad say that he's just in the game
gangsters are all the same.
all the same.
Yeah,
Like
justice.
yeah, Mike thinks he's like the white heart of the universe, and he in certain ways he is,
Yeah.
but in the end, he's just as responsible as everybody
Oh
else
yeah.
in the game, and he knows what he's doing the whole time.
Yeah, kills people in the game, but he's in the game.
Hmm.
He's part of it
Yeah,
just as much as everybody else. All you gangsters are the same.
yeah. And then after that, it's the funeral scene, and I mean that was one of the I think best scenes of the episode. I would say,
Yeah,
um, just like knowing the stakes of that scene going in, like where our characters are and what they're gonna have to do in this scene, just creates
right.
so much anticipation.
And
But oh, go ahead.
I feel like this scene in particular, when Kim goes and talks to Howard's wife, it's almost like that's the straw that broke the camel's back. There, she realized, oh, I'm kind of a monster. I think in the back of her head, she was kind of planning on, cutting it off and getting out of Dodge. But I
Hmm.
think that scene in particular just shows like how easy it was for her to do what she just did and how gross it maybe made her feel. I mean,
Yeah.
I could be just inferring my own opinions, and
No, I
thinking,
mean she is the one that sold the lie in the end,
right,
because like she was questioning Jimmy about their past and all the shit he's been doing with Howard and stuff like that. But Kim is the one that came out fucking with a perfectly bold-faced lie of like, this happened, I saw this happen, it's drugs, like.
Yeah.
So I mean, in the future, like, Kim obviously is very guilty,
Yeah.
and she feels that guilt even in this episode, like when we know it'll end. Like, she clearly doesn't want to live with what she's been doing. So.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's cool to me how they both lie in different ways though too. Like, Kim is just like, can just like put on a character and just like lie on a spot, but Jimmy
Yeah.
has to like kind of rope in a little bit of truth to
Right,
like
right.
sell his lie, But he can
Yeah.
do it so convincingly once he gives a little bit.
Yeah, and we see a little bit of that in the next episode too.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, he has to stay a little grounded in order to tell his story, make it
Right.
believable.
Yep.
So
But yeah, then I mean, this obviously leads to them breaking up. But I thought one of my favorite shots in this episode, but also just in the series, almost. I mean, there's hundreds of beautiful shots in this series. I would say that means so much. But this one is just them like standing in front of their cars, and like they both came in separate cars. They both like clearly they made the decision to have them in front of their cars. Like, she comes over, kisses Jimmy. She's coming to his side of like his like life for this little bit. Now she goes back over to her car and leaves in her car. And I mean, we know they're breaking up. He knows they're breaking up or whatever. But that's just like the journey of those characters through the whole series is like she dipped her toe into Jimmy's world, and now we know that she can't live there forever.
Yeah.
Like,
she can't hang.
no.
She has a little bit of a moral compass, which
Right.
Jimmy did have. I don't know. It's just Saul's fueled by anger, and it's his safety blanket, I guess.
Deflection.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then, it's like them breaking up at the apartment. Really great scene. I mean, obviously with these two actors that have been together for so long. And just the line of, I love you too, but so what? Like,
Yeah.
just damn, dude.
Damn.
Yeah.
The only time they say I love you.
Yeah, right at the end. And then when Jimmy says I love you, it's just like so
Pathetic.
sad. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like he's just reaching. I mean, he means it though. Jimmy needs her to rein him, I would say, rein him in, even though she was the one that eventually snowballed into like making the bad decisions at the end.
Yeah.
But it's like a push and pull with them, and obviously they pull each other in bad directions too. But I always thought that Jimmy is the toxic person. Obviously,
I can see that being true.
Yeah.
But then again, Kim made the decision to ditch an actual job opportunity to finish this.
Yeah,
heist,
that's true. Yeah, everything she wanted to like help people, like she could have had, and then she's like, "Well, this was more important." So
Yeah.
yeah, and she lied about Lalo, so there's a lot of shit to be guilty about. Feel guilty.
Yeah.
And then that's like one of the most jarring cuts in all of Breaking Bad, or not Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, is like when it just like cuts to Saul's like house. Yeah, he's on the rotating bed. It's just like, I don't know. It's like what you've wanted the whole series, but in that moment, just that cut from like relationship to what he's been deflecting for so long now.
Yeah.
Just so sad. Just like shows the progression of his character.
Yeah, definitely. And that final shot where he's at his desk and let what is it? Let
Let
justice,
justice be
till the heavens
done.
fall.
Though the heavens fall. Yeah.
Yep, that was
Yeah.
pretty good.
That was a good end.
That was a solid one-liner there at the end.
Yeah. And that at that point, it's like you basically bridged almost everything into Breaking Bad, I would say. But,
Yep. And I think he just falls more and more, as we see in the later.
yeah, we'll see
episode.
later. Yeah.
He falls more and more to the Saul character and into Breaking Bad because he has to keep deflecting and has to keep. He's fueled by all these little tidbits of frustration, anger, disappointment,
Ego. Yeah.
Yep. So which is cool.
Yeah.
These two shows, they feed into each other, and it's just a compliment. They
Mm-hmm.
give you a little bit of something. So it's good.
Yeah. That was a great episode, though. I mean, this entire last 8 episodes of this show, I think, are 10 out of 10 perfect episodes, in my opinion.
Definitely.
Like, So I mean, this was not any different, and it's like basically the closing out, tying up all the little bows at the end of the main timeline story.
Right.
So
The Jimmy story.
yeah, so that was cool, and then we can just move right into the next episode then, which is like totally past what we've like known or what we're in the unknown now. So
Yeah.
this episode was Nippy.
Dipping our toes. Well, actually, not really dipping our toes. They kind of just throw us into Gene's life. You know,
We're in
a whole
black and
episode
white.
dedicated to Gene.
Yeah, this was a very divisive episode when it came out. I don't know. I loved it, but I
It
know,
was one of my favorites.
yeah, the fan base is starting to turn on itself.
Yeah.
Like it's the true fans are there to like defend the show just in with love, and then
I
like
think they just have PTSD from Game of Thrones, so they're just
man,
like
it's just fandoms
cynical.
can they can go sour, man. They can just when it becomes too popular, it kills it. I would say, or like it starts to eat itself. You know.
Yeah, I could agree with that. I don't really look in those. I've looked on the subreddit one time this season, and that was you mentioned it, so I went on there just to see what was going on. And
Yeah.
I don't like the community very much.
Well,
But
Better Call Saul's on fire. I mean, we're almost
It
towards the
is.
end here, so this is probably peak
it
time.
went up a tick on IMDb. It's 8.9 now, so instead of an 8.8,
Should be higher, but yeah, that's fine.
it is what it is.
Yeah. But yeah, this was like the first like big foray into like main story of like Gene time. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's been long awaited for me. From the very first episode, I was like, we're ending the show in black and white, like, and we should end. Maybe not specifically in the color black and white. I'll leave it open that there could be some color towards the end if they really want to display that. Doesn't seem like it to me, but like the timeline of the black and white timeline is where I always thought the show would end or should end. So
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think that this was a good like we left what was it a while ago because obviously there was a big gap here, but the last we saw of Gene was he was having his little panic, right? And he said he was going to take care of this myself.
yeah,
And
the cab problem. So yeah,
And
this
now
is
he's
basically
taking care of it.
this is a long time coming for the plan.
Right.
So
and I mean it was just another the way of him taking care of it was slipping Jimmy. And now
Slippin'
you know,
Jimmy.
maybe slipping Jimmy's going to slip a little bit too much and he's
Yeah.
going to but yeah. And so so
This
I love this episode. I loved the heist. I love the build up to the heist. I don't know, the montage. God damn.
yeah,
So
some
good.
of just like the first off, this was the best ad for Cinnabon I've ever seen. Like
Definitely.
when they're just showing it being cut with a fork and knife, I was like, bro, you just got the best shot advertisement of your entire like career.
Made me
Like,
want one.
100%, yeah. But yeah, that was just added on to the montage aspect of like Slip and Jip. Like he just does whatever he can with whatever resources he has
Yeah.
on hand. And for this one, he had his position at Cinnabon, and he works at a mall. Like
He's so smart with his like. You have Walter, who's this larger than life, like super maxed out, ultra OP protagonist, right?
Yeah.
Always wins.
yeah,
Then you got Jimmy, where he seems to always win, but there's more consequences. It seems
he pays for his stuff.
more rapidly,
hmm
and I think that he can use his surroundings like Walter did and to his advantage, but at the same time, it's not as you don't feel as like secure in the decision making. You're like, oh, what's gonna happen? Like when Jeffy slips and falls, I'm like, God damn, I knew someone was gonna fucking die.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just feel like this is a more grounded protagonist in terms of like realistic, where the stakes are a little bit more like
They're real.
not to bring down Breaking Bad, obviously.
No.
It's just that's who Walter was. You know,
Yeah.
he's a super genius.
The way I see these two series work together, it's like perfect because Breaking Bad is like the bombastic explosion of story, and
Yeah.
Better Call Saul is like the nuanced build or descent. Yeah, I guess for these characters, like the descent, but the build and then descent. But it just
Yeah.
they work so perfectly together, you know. So
Yeah.
and especially these black and white timelines for me, it's just so nice to see like Gene or Jimmy just like bat and clean up for the universe. Like everyone else is dead or gone or like done, and Jimmy's still there, just pulling some crime shenanigans. They're not as
Yeah.
crazy as Walt's, obviously, or whatever, but he's like still pushing the crime world forward in this sterile,
Right.
old way now. And
He feels at home working with the low lives,
yeah, yeah. And I thought one of the really fun moments, though, for me, I mean, we're seeing Jimmy come out of his shell now again, back to what used to be a little bit, because he was so bogged down in the gene of it all or whatever.
Right.
But I think like little moments where it just shows how good he is or whatever, he just like proves how good he actually is he's on the phone with the worker who he's trying to leave the box for.
Yeah.
And then one of his Cinnabon workers comes in and is like, "Are you okay, Gene? What's going on?" And then he's like, "Oh yeah, just a delivery issue." And he's like playing like 3 different lies in that moment.
Yeah.
And they all overlap perfectly to like line, and he's just so smooth. And I mean, this is what he was made for. And he knows it. That's why he's such a great character, but the end of this journey is not a good one, just for that character. So
Yeah. Yep, I agree.
yeah. And then this one ends with him walking into the store, and he like picks up the Saul shirt and he looks at it again. He's like,
a little bit of foreshadowing, perhaps.
100%. Yeah, I mean, at the time I wondered what it meant, but it's weird too. Like looking back a couple weeks here, it's like you could kind of, if you didn't watch any episodes after Nippy, the series would be like a happy ending, And like it's like he put down the shirt, he might be done. Maybe he did what he needed to do, he's done. And then now once you go after that, it's like slipping Jimmy. God damn it.
Yeah.
Like it's like if you really want a happy ending, just stop at Nippy.
Right.
You really could.
Stop here.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. I mean, it's
He walks off it like into the sunset, like shot.
it's
You know what I'm saying?
satisfying.
Like yeah.
Satisfying in its own right if you're, not interested in anything else related to the universe, but
Right. Yeah, it's like this was like his final, it could have been his final scam, his final charade or whatever. Great, beautiful ending. But
alas,
yeah, no. It's just
there's hell to pay.
yeah, it's just a great episode though in that respect. I'd say it like all these episodes are 10 out of 10, like I said, and they all are so different and distinct and push the story in different ways that feel like they could end here or do different things that you've never expected. So it's really cool to see.
Yeah, definitely. They keep us on our toes.
Yeah. I'm excited to see the end, which we're nearing. So it's almost done. But
listening to the couple of podcasts that talk about it, and they're talking about how the end. I don't know what's wrong with my emotions. Certain things make me sad, but like I was starting to get a little choked up listening to people talk about the end here. I'm like, what's the matter with me?
Wow.
I don't
just
know.
shows what you care about. Just something ending in your life. It's big.
It's had a huge impact. This whole universe is.
Same.
So maybe that's why I'm just kind of like, damn, this is.
It's definitely
like a happy, bittersweet, but yeah.
It's a weird feeling for sure. I'm feeling it. I'm just like, man, in a couple weeks, like. There's nothing left here, It's just crazy. I don't know. There's always, for the last 10 years, there's been something in this universe
right
forward, so it's crazy.
It's gonna be an empty one.
Yeah, it's exciting. Yeah, but join us for our other discussions while we near the end.
Yep. Please stick around. Let us know what you guys think.
Yeah, stay gold.